When was the first time that you ever became self-conscious about your appearance? It's different for everybody, but for me, if I'm honest, it was back in junior high and I was babysitting for a family, and it was the 10 or 11-year-old girl that questioned my outfit choices. I don't know why it stuck with me. It bothered me so much, but she kind of made a comment that sounded like what I was wearing was a little bit dumb. And to be honest, when I think back on that outfit, I'm like, that actually sounds awesome. Like, I would probably wear that again. It was cut off sweatpant shorts. So shorts made out of sweatpants, and a t-shirt that was probably too big for me. And it had like giraffes and lions and zebras on it, I think, animals on a t-shirt as one would wear in the mid 90s. But it's too bad that I started to question how I look, because I feel like I've come full circle now as an adult in my 40s, and I have come back to wearing what's comfortable and not being super concerned about what's stylish. And I do still have moments where I look in the mirror or I look at a photo of myself and I think like, ooh, is that what I look like? Or looking in the mirror and seeing something that I feel like is a flaw, or that I don't like, or that I think doesn't look right. And I still have those thoughts, but what I have come to now is a way to interact with myself about it instead of just letting myself get down about those things. I have a way to interact with that, and I wanted to share that with you because if you're a woman who's watching this, you might wrestle with these same things. And so here's what helps me is when I see something about myself, or just in general, if I don't approve of how I look or I don't like how I look, I remind myself that if I think that someone who looks like me or has this certain characteristic or whatever, if I think that it's not okay to look that way, I'm saying, unintentionally, but I am saying that women should look a certain way and that I'm falling short of that standard. Where in reality, if I can accept how I look, then I'm accepting how all women look. And sometimes that's the only thing that keeps me from just feeling down about certain things. And I won't go into details because it's not important, the details. It's more addressing anything about our appearance. And I want to keep it relatable. So I don't want to give specifics because I want to keep it relatable just to the fact of seeing yourself and thinking you don't measure up, or that you don't like how you look, or that something's not right, or that you should look differently, or feeling bad about a part of your appearance. So I've never loved those messages that women usually give where they say like, you are beautiful exactly how you are, where it's never been that encouraging to me. One, because usually the people saying that, they don't know me. They're like a stranger on the internet, or like in a book or in a meme, or a blog post. So my first thought is usually like, you don't know me. So it doesn't even make sense that you could just say that I'm beautiful. And plus, by what standard? Then we're just getting back to like, what do you mean? And honestly, my other thought is, why do we even have to be beautiful? Like, why should that be a reassuring thing? The fact that I'm even thinking about that shows me that I've come a long way. So that like, our bodies help us get around in the world, and our bodies help us move, and our bodies help us to help others and to be there for the people around us. And our arms and our legs help us get around and support us. There's just so much more to being having a body than it needing to be called beautiful. Of course, it's nice when my husband gives me compliments. I'm not saying we shouldn't give or accept compliments. That's not my point. My point is that when we think that we don't look good, when we cannot accept ourselves the way that we are, when we're critical of our appearance or certain parts of our appearance, when we think that that's not good, then we are sending out there into the world the message that, like, if you look this way or have this characteristic, that's not good. And you know, I've brought this up to women before and have said, like, well, do you think other people shouldn't look like A, B, or C? You know, like if someone's criticizing a certain part of themselves, and I say, like, well, I have that, is that not good? And they're like, oh, no, I don't mean you, I just mean me. So then I'm like, okay, so why is it okay for other people to look like that, but not you? And so I've just come to the realization that when I accept how I look, I'm accepting how women look. You know, we all look the way that we do. And, you know, I actually just watched a video about how the beauty standards, or what was considered socially to be beautiful, like in the, like Jane Austen era days, how it was so different than, I was going to say our culture, but like the 2024 American culture deems to be beautiful. So it's very fascinating to think about those things. Of course, this doesn't heal or take away the painful comments that people may have said to you. You know, if people have said things to you about certain parts of your appearance that are really, really hurtful, this doesn't take that away. And I am sorry if someone has made you feel badly for looking the way that you do. I'm more trying to talk about accepting ourselves, you know, for how we look. Because here's the thing. Imagine if way back when I was in junior high, imagine that if when that 10-year-old girl said, like, what made you decide to wear that today? If I really was okay with how I looked, I would have not let that stick with me, because part of what bothers us about our appearance, when someone makes a comment that makes us self-conscious, part of what bothers us is, like, we think, well, maybe there's a part of it that's true, you know? But if we, you know, if someone makes a comment about how I look, I can acknowledge, if it's in my own mind, not necessarily to the person that says it, I can acknowledge it in my own mind, like, is that true? Is that a aspect of how I look? Yes or no? Okay, then is that bad? Is that, like, not cool for some reason? And I have the power to say to myself, it's fine. Women don't all have to look like A, B, or C, or women don't all have to have this part of their appearance look a certain way. So I just, I've been all over the place with this, but I mostly want to say, like, be aware of how you talk about your appearance, because the other women in our lives, we may not know this, but some of them are watching us and paying attention to how we talk and interact. And if they hear us put down a certain part of how we look, they might start to think to themselves, like, oh, is that not good? You know, like, I think about, you know, mothers who talk about their weight, you know, and if they say, like, oh, I need to lose some weight, well, their daughters are watching and listening, and they might start to look at themselves and be like, oh my goodness, so there's, like, a certain weight that is not okay. I got to work on this. And or it can be any part of our appearance. So just be extra conscious about how you speak about yourself. And it's not just about how you speak about yourself. It has to be how you also think about yourself and accept your own appearance for what it is, and to appreciate. You don't have to love every single part of yourself and think like, oh, but I'm beautiful. Like, it's great if you are, or if you feel that you are, that's great. But you don't have to love every part of your appearance and think that every single part of you is beautiful. You can just appreciate your body and appreciate that you have it and that it helps you get around and walk through life. And I, I, I would encourage you to not apologize also for if you have less makeup on, for if you feel that you look tired, for if your hair isn't styled the way that you normally style it or prefer it, or at all. Just be extra conscious about how you speak about yourself and to not worry about someone. Okay, here's the other part. I think this is also part of why we apologize for our parents. There are critical people out there, and especially if you're doing things like this, putting yourself out on YouTube, there are people who are critical and will bully you or criticize or nitpick you about how your hair is, how your voice sounds, how you talk, the way that you look. If you look tired, there are actually rude people in the world who will comment on those things. So that is a very real fear. That is probably part of why we apologize for our appearance, because we want to jump the gun and be like, oh, you can't criticize me for this because I already know that I look this way. But why do you have to meet other people's standards for how to look? If you're tired, so you're tired. You were probably busy doing things or worried about things going on in your life, and you don't have to add to it that you also need to look amazing. Anyways, I could go on about this for quite some time, but please let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments. How do you feel about people who apologize for their appearance in videos? And what has your journey been like with this? And if you could go to your past self and give yourself some encouragement about worrying about your appearance, what would you tell junior high you or younger you? I'd love to hear in the comments. Thanks for watching.